Hello, apparently I haven't recorded a video for a long time now, so let me try to do and fix this. My name is Gabor Sabo and this is the Code Maven channel, and we are going to talk about a couple of Perl related projects, CPAN Digger and the CPAN Dashboard we're going to take because it has been updated and the new and nice features appeared. So let me switch to the screen where you can see first of all the CPAN Digger. The CPAN Digger, it lives on a host name called CPAN-Digger.perlmaven.com. So that's where my website, and there's just a host. What this thing does is once a day it runs, collects data from Meta CPAN, takes them, I think 100, 150 most recently uploaded distributions, and then checks first of all if the distributions link to their version control system. So if there is a public version control system, if they link to it. Now, why would it be that interesting? I think it's important if you would like to contribute to a project, then the easiest way to contribute is to get to find the GitHub repository or GitLab or whatever repository, the public repository of that project, and then contribute there. Some people prefer, some CPAN authors prefer that people will send them patches like it was 10, 20, 15 years ago. 20 years ago, 15 years ago. But the majority actually is using GitHub, and they probably prefer a pull request. In the last couple of weeks or months, I contacted a couple of the CPAN authors who didn't have this link, and most of them responded by, oh, I didn't know about the linking, or they just forgot it, or things like this. Some of them said that, okay, they don't have a public version control system, or they don't want to have this link for various reasons. So on this CPAN Digger you can find the most recently uploaded packages. I'm not looking at the older ones at this case because they're not that interesting. If a package hasn't been uploaded, if a distribution hasn't been uploaded for a year or I don't know, long time, then it's less likely that it's going to be updated anytime soon. So my first order of paying attention, or the first thing that I would like to see is that the things that are uploaded, they have this information. And anyway, if someone ever uploaded a package an hour ago or a day ago, then it's much more likely than if we contact that they are around, they will fix something, they will be able to add this link. So if you scroll down to the bottom, you will see some statistics. You can see that there are 110 entries. Actually, the job right now, I think, looks at the 150 most recently uploaded distributions, but there are some of them that they are uploaded several times, newer versions. So at the end, we just ended up with 110 today. And and some more statistics. So you can see that 74 of them, so 67% of them have the link. And then what you can see here more in this column is the link to the version control system. These ones they don't have, but they don't have that link. But you can add them, so but the author can add them basically. The link here leads to the description how to add that. Basically, you make changes to the makefile PL or build PL or the zil ini, for this Zilla, and that's how you can add this information. But probably you'll have to contact the author. Now there are a couple of people who've already said that they don't want it or don't have public version control, so I mark them in the code so we won't bother them again, and you can see that that's where you can see this no sign. The second column, and then just to show you, so if you go to visit, for example, this project, just to show you, then on the left hand side you can see the link to repository, and that's the link that you get. And the way you get it is that Meta CPAN extracts this information from the Meta JSON file down somewhere. Here's the resources, the repository link, and it gets there by having it in the makefile PL. So when the author generates the distribution, and if the author has this part, then that's the makefile PL part. The other projects have it in a different way. So if you have that link, then that information, then it gets into the meta JSON, and from that meta CPAN, and that's how the CPAN Digger can extract it. The issues are another field. So the issues is the bug tracking system that's mentioned in the meta JSON file. Again, here you can see that this one has a link to GitHub. It has a link to RT, the request tracker. This one, well, obviously doesn't even have the, well, it's not obvious. It doesn't have the repo, but for example, this one has the link to the repository, but doesn't have a link to the bug tracker because it wasn't added. And the issue, if you visit this page, so the thing is that if you visit this page, Meta CPAN automatically links to the issues. But if you look at the, let me click on this. I don't know if you can see it at the bottom of the screen, but it leads to RT. And that wouldn't be an issue, but I think if you click on the repository of this project, then you will see that it also has issues. So the GitHub repository also provides the issues. And that can lead to a confusion that should I report a bug on RT or on GitHub. This confusion sort of could be resolved by either configuring this project that it won't use the issues, so you can disable the issues in GitHub, I think. But in any way, I would, and then there won't be two places. But in any case, I would think that it's better to explicitly say in the meta JSON file. And again, you can do that in a quite similar way. You have a link here that explains how to add this. And finally, so these are information from meta CPAN. Then the CPAN Digger actually looks at the repository of each of these projects where we already have the repository, and checks if there is any CI system it seems that there is any CI system. So there's a configuration file, because having the configuration file of Travis doesn't necessarily mean that actually Travis is enabled, but well, in this case at least, CPAN Digger doesn't go that far. So it checks whether the configuration file or Travis CI is there. Or in this case, this project has both Travis and GitHub Actions. And yes, it should be probably one line for each. So why would you want to have a CI? And that's a separate issue why a project would want. I mean, there are CPAN testers, and CPAN testers are really nice, but CPAN testers give you a report after you uploaded your module, and it usually takes a few hours at least, but usually a few days till you get the report. So it's much better, much faster to get a response from a CI system that runs on every push, because then even if you just developing your module and you're going to release it later on, a couple of days from now, a couple of weeks from now, when enough stuff is together, the CI system already checked a lot of things. Maybe not everything, like CPAN testers, not in that way. On the other hand, you can actually decide that you would like to run your tests on various operating systems, and a CI system would also run your test when a pull request arrives before even you look at the code. So you can the contributor can already see that they didn't break anything with their pull request, and they can go and fix if anything is broken. So I think a CI system can be useful. Both, I mean, definitely if there's an external contributor. I know that I myself forgot to, I don't know, run Perl tidy, run whatever thing. Many times I forget to do this and then push it out, and then later I found out bugs in my code that could have been caught if I ran the tests, but I forget to run the tests on my computer. And I definitely won't have so many versions of Perl installed, and I don't have Mac these days. I hardly have a Windows. I mean, I prefer not to start it these days. I mean, it's just a waste of time for me. But the CI system can do it for me and every push, so it's really great. This column is the license column. That's again extracted from the meta CPAN. Let's say it's not that important at this point, but I think it's it's a good idea to have an explicit tag for the license. So that's why I'm collecting this information or displaying this information. And then finally, this last column is that's almost for everyone, it's yellow these days. Okay, here is one green one. So this is the dashboard that Dave Cross created, and I had a video about it earlier, but back then it was only his own dashboard. Since then he made some changes, and now everyone can relatively easily have their own part of that dashboard. So as you can see, this user, Nigel Horn, I think, has configured it. So if you click on this visit, then you get to his CPAN dashboard. So you can see it's the cpandashboard.com now. It's hosted there. And then you can see in this dashboard, or it's primarily for him, okay? It's primary for each of the CPAN authors. It's not much, it's less interesting for the other people who might want to contribute, but it still can be useful. So he can see that on each one of his projects, or if on CPAN modules, and then what version is on Meta CPAN. So I think it will change color once there is a version above 1, and then the various CI systems and what's the status of that CI system, if it's even enabled. Okay, so I think this means that it's not enabled. GitHub Actions not enabled on this project, and the columns, okay, and then cover alias, which is collecting coverage reports from the test runners, from the CIs. Critica, which is running per critic, I think. I haven't been able to configure it on my project, but and you can actually configure these columns for your own taste. If you go to the main page of the CPAN dashboard, you can see that there are a couple of people who already have this. And for example, if you visit my page, first of all, you will see that these are ordered. Hopefully, it's a recent change. I think there's a recent change showing only 10 entries. So I configured it to show the most recently uploaded versions. I think others, or the default behavior, is to show them in the alphabetical order. But I thought that it's more useful for me to see the most recent ones, because the old ones I less care. I won't go and fix things. I add the CI system for something that I don't touch anyway. I would do that for a project that I touch, that I make changes to. Okay, so that's what I have here, and then you can see that there are different. And there's a little red triangle showing that in this case, apparently my meta.json file includes the link to the GitHub repository, but it's an HTTP link. Back then it was like, well, it was 3 years ago, so I should have fixed that, but apparently I forgot, and nothing checked it, so it's not an HTTPS link. It's not a big deal. It's just will report. I think if you look at this page, oh no, I think it's fixed on this page, but originally it was linking or loading the images from the HTTP, and then you got a complaint here. So now it's fixing on the fly the links to the images, to the badges, and but gives me this really little red triangle to warn me, so can remind me, so I can go and fix those links. Again, I might go to the repository and fix the link there. So if and when I upload again this project, then it will already come with the HTTPS. So how can you add yourself to this one? There's a big blue button for that. So you click the big blue button, and there are some points here how to add that. Actually, it says that you have to fork it and whatever, but you don't. So you don't have to add any of the things yet. You can just create this. So you don't have to add the links to your repositories. You don't have to add any of the CI systems, anything before you start the configure this. You can configure this right away, and you don't even have to fork the project. So you can come to the GitHub repository, take a fork. So it says take a fork of the CPAN. You don't actually have to fork it because if you go and you have to create a file here. So you go to the authors directory, and here you can create a file, add a file, create a new file, and then you would say that this is your CPAN ID. So it's your pose ID, and then I think I don't remember it's what kind of file it's. So let me go back, leave page. So you have to create. Basically, you can take for example the file from Brian Foy. Click on this, copy the content, and then you create a file in the UI changing these information. So let's take a look of my version. So you can go here, copy this one, and then go back and create a new file, add a new file. You would put here your pose ID. So I don't know what is your pose ID. Kukuriku, I don't know, maybe. And then JSON, and then you would put it here. You fix this, so you put your pose ID here as well. Slight application, yes. Your GitHub username, you put it here. And then here you can configure which one of the columns you would like, and you can also add this sorting. So I have this sort on the date column and the descending order. And then you just click here, propose new file. This will basically fork the project and commit, and then you can also click and send a pull request, and then Dave Cross gets the pull request, can integrate this. Now I'm not going to do it because I already have this account set up. So that's about the CPAN the dashboard, and I'll go back just for a second to the CPAN Digger, because at the top of it you also have another link just for fun to the CPAN Rocks website, which is actually apparently is written in Raku, that collects data from MetaCPAN and displays them in a slightly different way. What you can see here is that, funnily or interestingly, Pearl Ankar is like the top most prolific author on CPAN, has more than 2,000 distributions. Wow, that's a lot. I have like 30, and even those are not useful. But what I wanted to point to you is that this is like the overall number of links of version control systems. So you might remember here on the bottom of the CPAN Digger is that 67% has a version control link to the version control system of the most recently uploaded distributions. Which is actually really low. Usually we have a lot higher values. So it depends on the days, but yeah. So this author, I don't know who is this author. They upload in batches, and they don't have it. I don't know who is this, and they don't have the link. And I sent an email which I didn't get any response. I really hope. I mean, I would love to at least mark it as no, and then say, okay, they don't want it, but it's sort of hanging in the air now. Anyway, so the most recent will change a lot, and usually it's 89-90%. So this one is a really low version for this week. But on CPAN Rocks, you can see the overall number. So you can see this is like the overall statistics, which is quite close now. Surprising. Oh no, sorry. The 67 is unknown here, and so 67 doesn't have. So overall, only like 33% have the link, and even in such a sort of bad week, we have 67 having the link. And then the same thing you can see about the link to bug trackers. Here you can see that 66% don't have overall. So these are old modules, old distributions that no one will update. So not that surprising. But it's interesting that I think here we can have the bugs, which is 43, which is much lower than this one. And again, this is a bad week for that, or a bad couple of days. But that's it. So you have plenty of things now to do. No, well, actually, the main thing is I think is that to configure your CPAN dashboard. So you can have this overview, and then you check which of these distributions don't have the link, and then add that VCS link, and then you configure CI systems. And if you need help, then you can contact me with that. And in any case, thank you for watching. And well, I hope I'm in 20 minutes already. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, then please support it by at least liking the video and following this channel, of course. That also helps the channel as well, helps me. And then there's the Patreon link where you can support also financially. So I'll have be able to invest even more time in improving Perl and creating these videos and doing other things with other open source projects. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.